Hi, my name is Rachel White. I'm a JFK assassination researcher. And in this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about something that's going to sound odd to our ears. If you haven't been following our research, you're going to imagine this as completely crazy. But I'm going to talk about the Lampchop puppet. Now, from our research, we've determined that Jackie Kennedy shot JFK in the back of that limo, and to conceal the weapon, she hid the weapon inside of a Lampchop puppet and shot through the puppet so that obviously no one would see the weapon in the car. Now, in the 2 years that we've been talking about Jackie Kennedy being part of the in-car hit team and the existence of Lampchop, people have come to us and called us absolutely crazy and all sorts of things for suggesting that Jackie shot JFK in the first place, but the whole Lampchop thing as being ridiculous and laughable. But I just want to talk us through this because this is the way in which people deceive. This is the way in which people pull these things off, is to use ludicrous ideas and to use things that we would never imagine in order to cover their tracks, to hide the truth, to deceive us, to make us feel stupid for even thinking of that thing. This is how it works. This is how it works. And I can tell you that we are not crazy. I'm going to present evidence to you that tells us that Lampchop is a very real thing and was used as a concealment for that weapon in the car. Now, I've talked a little bit before in a video before about Lampchop being a symbol of the fact that the hit is a go for a start, and that the whole symbology around using lambs and rams and sheeps is about the sacrificial nature of the killing of the king. And if we think about it throughout history, that's been a theme. Think about Christ on the cross, the sacrificial lamb. Think about things to do with ancient Egypt, how they would use lamb symbology. And even today, I have to tell you that the word COVID means sheep. Just think about that. Just think about the implications of what that means and plug it in to where we're at today. So I want to talk about the provenance of Lampchop. So the first thing I want to show you is this picture here. Now, this is a still taken from a little piece of news footage that was taken on the 17th of October 1963. Now, if you know any history, you've been doing some research alongside us, you'll know that after Jackie Kennedy lost Patrick, she went and stayed with Aristotle Onassis on his yacht, and with her sister Lee Radziwill. Okay, and they went for a couple of weeks, and they came back on the 17th of October and she had recuperated. And in this video clip, we can see that young Caroline, this is Caroline Kennedy, runs up to meet Mummy off the plane. Now, I want you to go and watch this footage, because I watch it. You have to watch it in slow motion because it'll bypass you super quick. So what happens is that this little girl is carrying this Lampchop toy up the steps of the plane. She's carrying it, and what she actually does is she turns on her heels and runs down the steps of the plane, and it's almost as though somebody from the ground, maybe one of the Secret Service team, who knows, is saying to her, turn around and go and give that toy to Mummy, because she actually turns tail and goes back to Mummy and back to Jackie Kennedy and gives Jackie the Lampchop toy. And Jackie takes it from her and holds it in her hand and is bringing it down the stairs as she descends from the plane. And we need to ask some questions about that action, because it looks to me like that's staged. No child. In fact, Caroline didn't do this. She didn't willingly give up this toy. It looks as though somebody has instructed her to deliberately hand that toy over to her mummy and to give it to her so she can bring it down the steps of the plane, and the world is seeing this news report. Now, this is how these elite people communicate. They don't communicate necessarily in words or in memos or in phone calls, because all of that can be intercepted by other people and they can be found out. So what they do is they use codes and they use symbols. We know this. This is what the whole Pizzagate thing is all about. That they've used an analogy of pizza and ingredients and different things to mean procurement of children. It's code. This is what happens. So in this case, they're using Lampchop as a symbol that the hit is a go. This Lampchop means the hit is a go. And this was taken on the 17th of October. We believe that Jackie prepared for the hit on board Aristotle Onassis's yacht. And her sister Lee Radziwill was present, because we also believe that Lee Radziwill and Jackie were coerced or signed up or recruited, or however it happened, into the CIA in the early 1950s. And I certainly believe that they worked as a team. Okay, so this is the first we see of Lampchop. We've been able to put some of these things together. So it looks innocent. It looks like her toy. It looks like her toy. Nobody would suspect it, would they? Nobody. Here is Lee Radziwill. Now, this is a picture taken at Lovefield as JFK and Jackie have come from the plane at Lovefield on that Friday morning, and they are doing a meet and greet with the crowd. We've seen the footage. And Lee Radziwill is in the crowd behind the fence, and she hands over this puppet, Lampchop puppet, she hands it over to JFK. We've recently, through the work and thanks to Marcia Johnson to help us see this, she handed that over to JFK. The gun was not inside it at that point. The gun was in Jackie's handbag. But she hands the puppet over to JFK very, very naturally, almost as though she is saying, this is Caroline's toy, take it for her birthday was going to be in the next week. Very, very natural. There's this, and we actually now feel there's something deeper going on between JFK and Lee Radziwill, and it is very likely that they had some kind of sexual connection as well. Very, very likely. Now, people have said, how can we show that this is Lee Radziwill? It could be anyone with this dippity-doo hairstyle, very fashionable at the time. The pixelation isn't great. It's not a great photo. It's not a great photo. Well, here's the thing. If you are a VIP and you are doing a meet and greet, and you're handed stuff over the fence from random people in the crowd, what happens to that stuff? You don't receive it as a VIP. Your person, your butler, your lady in waiting, your security guard, whoever takes that on your behalf. And the reason is because it could very well have a bomb inside. Who knows? It's a security issue. But in this case, the Secret Service don't step in and stop this from occurring. Not at all. And it seems to me that this is planned. And we've got this handover specifically filmed. Now, as I've done research, more and more research, I'm realising that because certain things have been specifically filmed and put out on the TV, into TV land on that day, this is a way in which these elite people are communicating that the handover's been done. The task is in progress. It's on its way. It looks so natural. It looks so innocent. It doesn't look like it could possibly be, but it is, because this is how they work it. They're using media to their own advantage, and have always done so and always will do and do. It's a tool. It's a tool of the elites. It's a total tool of the elites. Okay, so how can we tell this is Lee Radziwill? Well, I'm going to make another video. In fact, as I've prepared for this video, I've realised that I'm going to have to make another video specifically about Lee Radziwill and her activities, because there's just so much to tell you about Lee, and there's some things I need to discuss in depth, which I haven't got time to do in this video. So here is a picture of Lee Radziwill, a studio picture of Lee Radziwill. If you look carefully, you can see there that this is the same woman. This is the same woman. And in my next video, I'm going to show you categorically how we can say that is the case, because this is the same woman. Lee Radziwill, Jackie Kennedy's sister, at Lovefield, handing over Lampchop to be the concealer of the weapon. Okay, here we go. This is a collage that Richard has made. Now, if you can see here, I'm going to put it a little bit closer to you. Here is Jackie was given some red roses at Lovefield, and also some chrysanthemums, white flowers, and Lampchop is hidden inside the white flowers because JFK gave that Lampchop over, and then it came to Jackie probably by one of the Secret Service team there. Here is Lampchop, you can see here in the car with Jackie. This is Lampchop. So here we've got some evidences now to say that Lampchop really did exist, really was passed over the fence, and really was in that car. There is no doubt about it. Here we go. Here's another still. She is fiddling around with Lampchop. Of course, she's got to fiddle around with Lampchop. She's got to put the gun inside Lampchop en route. And here she is. She's fiddling with Lampchop. Now she's lifting it up high in the motorcade. So this is a signal to the groundsman. Hit is a go. We are on. I'm ready to do this. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And Richard has made this collage. And at the bottom it talks about Jean Hill. Jean Hill was, as you know, stood right there next to Mary Moorman, who took that very famous photograph at the moment of the shooting. And she actually said later that she felt that there was a little dog between Jackie and JFK in that car. So she'd obviously seen a little face with two eyes and a nose. Couldn't quite make it out. It would have come by in a flash, of course. But couldn't quite make it out and presumed that it was some kind of animal. She was laughed off. She was laughed off as how ridiculous this is. But we know for sure now that she saw this correctly. She was looking, staring into the face of Lampchop, the concealer of the weapon. Here is Lampchop. It's a bit of a close-up in the car. You can see Lampchop there and Jackie's pink suit, ready to be the concealer of the weapon. Okay, now my last picture is the car at the end when it was photographed. Can you see they left Lampchop behind on the seat? This is Lampchop here. Lampchop here. Because again, they leave clues and they leave messages because they think that we're stupid and that we would never realise the significance of their actions. Yeah, and for 57 years they've been correct, because until Richard and I started to talk about how Jackie had been the one to shoot JFK up through the left side of his head, everybody up until that point pretty much laughed in our face and called us crazy, and it could never be, and how absurd, and you know, the level of hate that we have had just from putting forward the idea that it could even be possible. I can't tell you how much hatred and vitriol has come our way. It really, really has. But guys, if you're following our research, you'll know that every single time we put out a video, we are loading it full of more and more and more and more evidence to say that this is the case. Here is Lampchop on the back seat. It's here, just discarded, because we'd never worked this out. We'd never put this together, would we? Because we're dumb. We are the dumb sheep. That is how they see us. That is how they see us. We are seen as dumb sheep, and dumb sheep ready for the slaughter. And that is where we are today with COVID, the sheep disease. COVID means sheep. That is where we are. They are seeing us as sacrificable. And one of the ways that we can deal with this is that we can access the truth, and we can tell the truth, and we can expose what has truly, truly gone on. And once we start to unpack it and unravel it and present it to you, expose it and get you thinking about it and get you understanding how very, very deep level this is and how it fits together and how it locks together, we can see a progression of where we've come from. Now, I'm going to make another video probably later on in the next few days to talk about how these events kind of link together, because they just simply do. We're dealing with the deep state. We're dealing with the deep state who just think that they can do whatever they like to meet their own agenda for their own purposes, for their own financial gain, for their own reasons, whatever it may be. And we are nothing to them. Well, that's got to change, people. That has to change. It has to change. And this is how we do it. We start understanding, we start researching, we start talking about what the truth really is. So I just want you to think about these things. I want us to understand about Lampchop. And it sounds a silly thing, but it's not a silly thing. It's dead serious. It's dead serious because they've used Lampchop to deceive us. So the question is, what are they using? How are they using it to deceive us today? Because if they felt 57 years ago that they could have got away with something by deception and it succeeded, what's happened is they built on that deception, built on that deception, built on that deception, until we've got to the point where we're completely deceived. And as I said before, the media is used as their tool. And we are in a very sad state of affairs. So I just want us to understand this kind of like from the baseline upwards. And it's sad times, but I just want us to be tellers of the truth. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I'm planning on doing another video on Lee Radziwill, so please stay tuned. Okay, bye.